You're at a party, scanning the room for that special someone to catch your eye. But as you look around, you can't help but feel a sinking sense of dread. Will tonight just be another disappointing evening of meaningless small talk and forgettable encounters? Just when you're about to resign yourself to a boring night of tedium, your gaze locks onto her from across the room. She's vibrant, captivating, and exudes an undeniable magnetism you can't turn away from. In that moment, you know this woman is someone truly extraordinary, someone you absolutely must get to know on a deeper level. But as self-doubt starts creeping in, your confidence takes a hit. What if she's just like all the rest, hopelessly shallow, disinterested after 5 minutes, and doomed to vanish from your memory like a spectre after the party dies? If you're like most guys, you've been burned by those ghost of romance apparitions more times than you can count. Well, get ready to stop that excruciating cycle once and for all. Because in this article, you're going to learn the secrets to crafting an unforgettable impression that scorches your presence into her psyche forever. Deploy these insights properly, and she'll be reminiscing about your indelible impact for years to come. See, most men sleepwalk through introductions utterly clueless about the psychological keys that part the veil and grant them access to a woman's deepest intimacies. They bumble through pickup routines regurgitated from outdated advice columns, signaling, "I'm just like every other thirsty dude," before they've even opened their mouths. But you're not going to be like those forgettable fools any longer. You're going to uncover the razor-sharp mental approach and precision conversational techniques that elevate you to rare air. An elite plane of existence where you become a man of mystery, intrigue, and spellbinding fascination to her senses. It all starts with embodying the spirit of what I call torch consciousness, that unique masculine energy which renders you a blazing, searing presence in her awareness. The type of incandescent aura that leaves metaphorical third-degree burns after every interaction, ensuring she'll forever associate thoughts of you with smoldering intensity. Think of it like a heat lamp bathing a cool evening in glowing, revitalizing sun rays. You'll be that irresistible source of vital life force that warms her spirit and beckons her to bask in your irresistible glow, time and time again. Of course, cultivating that compelling essence starts with tuning your mindset to a very precise resonant frequency. Mindset mastery, developing supreme self-assurance. The number one factor separating those street lamp memories from the easily forgotten? It's visceral, authentic, take no prisoners self-confidence. That profound self-assurance that communicates through unshakable body language, eye contact, vocal tonality. It quite literally hypnotizes a woman into being unable to dismiss you from her consciousness. Here's the good news. You can develop this level of supreme self-assurance independent of your outward accomplishments or appearance. While looks and success definitely help, this mindset mastery ultimately emerges from a laser-focused inner belief in your own worthiness. A hardcore certainty that you are, in fact, the complete package she's been waiting for. Strengthening that iron-willed sense of self starts with banishing limiting subconscious beliefs about your value and appeal. Those pesky mental scripts of inadequacy, sabotaging your interactions before you've even opened your mouth? It's time to dismantle those destructive tapes decisively. One of the most powerful methods for short-circuiting self-doubt is to compile a comprehensive confidence resume, a motivational dossier where you record all of your genuine accomplishments, positive personality traits, and unique gifts and talents you offer the world. Study this list deeply, highlighting just how much you bring to the table beyond shallow externals. Next is therein and repeat confidence-building technique. This is where you look yourself dead in the mirror and recite a series of empowering self-worth affirmations out loud. Statements like, "I am an extraordinarily high-value individual. When I enter a room, I elevate the energy and make every space I occupy more compelling. I am a fascinating, exceedingly self-assured person. My words spellbind those around me and leave them hungry to know more about my essence. Every cell in my body vibrates with the potent allure of self-mastery. My irresistible presence mesmerizes all who cross my path, leaving them in awe of my magnificence." Yes, this practice may feel awkward at first, but stick with it daily until the truth behind these affirmations soaks through your core. You're quite literally reprogramming your psyche to operate from that torch consciousness frequency. Every cell in your being becomes steeped in undaunted self-belief. Now, you're mentally primed to exude that smoldering aura of quiet charisma in every personal interaction. She'll be putty in your irresistibly hypnotic hands before you even open your mouth, transfixed by the blazing confidence flames dancing in your eyes. Conscious conversation, crafting mesmerizing connections. With the torch consciousness mindset firmly rooted, you're ready to bring words into the seductive equation. But not just any empty jabbering will do. The dialogue you sculpt needs to feel like a delightfully improvised jazz riff steadily intensifying into an epic solo of spoken word genius. A masterwork of rhythmic melody that enraptures her senses. Central to crafting those spellbinding spoken seductions, cultivating a vast interior world she'll thirst to explore, catalog, and immerse herself within. Because when a woman gets a glimpse of those exquisite, layered depths existing behind your striking facade, an obsession kicks in where she can't slake her fascination until she's mapped every contour of your soul. So think of yourself as the most tantalizing book she's ever encountered. Each musing you share, every quixotic personal philosophy on display is a new juicy chapter drawing her further into the gravitational pull of your mythic mystique. The more dimensions of substance she discovers within you, the deeper her craving burns to devour every page of your being. Where so many men bore with hollow small talk, you'll captivate her with tantalizing intellectual discourse on topics spanning art, culture, metaphysics, and beyond. Express perspectives steeped in contemplation and keen philosophical observations about the human experience. Blend those insightful musings with anecdotes about adventurous escapades, traveling the world, or pursuing daring creative visions. Alternate between fascinating her with those heady existential deep dives and delighting her with roguish humor and whimsical storytelling prowess. The more unpredictable and kaleidoscopic your persona appears, the more entranced she'll become in slowly dismantling your eternal riddle. Throughout these hypnotic meanderings into your inner cosmology, be sure to punctuate the experience with seductive islands of playful silence. Comfortable pauses where you lock eyes until the static electricity of shared tension builds and her soul positively aches for your next revelation. She'll be salivating for your next word final, as if it were the elixir of life itself. By the end of the experience, her mind will be swimming with the deliciously haunting echoes of your unforgettable encounter. Echoes that will steadily coalesce into a smoldering fever dream of insatiable curiosity, gripping her imagination and obsessing her consciousness daily with exhilarating visions of intellectual and spiritual ravishment by your infinite layers of depth. And from that moment on, you become that unforgettable legend whose tantalizing ephemera captivates her neurons in perpetuity. A blazing icon of spellbinding sensual and philosophical force that courses endlessly through her synaptic pathways. To blink is to see visions of your inextinguishable allure flashing behind her very eyelids. But even beyond those mesmerizing verbal enlightenments, there's one more crucial element to deploying that leaves permanent, molten psychic brands. Emotional burn, activating her heat receptors. Even the most enraptured interchange of dueling intellects risks growing stale if there's no rocket fuel of palpable emotional resonance propelling the passion. You see, mid-gasmic cerebral exchanges alone can still be dissociated from deep in the unconscious psyche, fascinating but fleeting intellectual exercises. To etch yourself into those fiery core regions of her being where the lava-hot residues of lifelong imprints are smelted, you need to activate her deepest emotional receptors. Ignite a blazing heart heat that sears you into her most primal essences. And there's no better catalyst for sparking that soulful inferno than the disarming power of vulnerability. A masterful unsheathing of selective emotional exposure, timed with surgical precision, revealing hints of exquisite sensitivity that beckon her to explore your inner layers more intimately. Make no mistake, this exposure requires the utmost artistry, truth, and discretion. You're not turning into a blubbering open wound, spilling your guts recklessly like an unhinged, oversharing madman. That's the quickest way to extinguish the magnetic allure built through your quiet self-assurance. No, you're being methodical and metaphoric in the glimpses you provide, intimating at fragments of poetic depth that stoke the flames of her fascination. You're opening crevices purposefully to allow rays of relatable resonance to escape the surface of your composed persona. An offhand remark about carrying childhood trauma that galvanized you into pursuing a hero's journey of self-actualization. Favorite quotes or philosophies invoked betraying values of staunch integrity and devotion to selfless service. Even casual references to creative muses or artistic inspirations hinting at a well of profound emotional tumult underpinning your creative wellspring. With every insight into the sensitivity simmering beneath that austere, charismatic exterior, she'll feel a deepening resonance. A whisper that says, there's substance of tremendous depth just waiting to be explored in this man's valleys and canyons. Unfathomable power contained for now beneath an elegant, implacable surface. And just as the blue heart of a simmering flame glows brightest before the logs ignite in searing communion, these few glimpses of cerebral fire will be enough to spark sparks of intuition in her reptilian spaces. Intuitions of untamed passion just waiting to be set free in a blossoming spiritual awakening. That's when she becomes obsessively possessed, manically fixated on discovering what other scintillating secrets your soul is shielding from view. In her reveries, she'll find herself consumed by fantasies of dismantling you completely to experience the glory of true emotional cataclysm. To merge in cathartic tantric rapture with those seismic forces she's certain are sealed within by your masterful concealment. By fusing this kindled promise of intimacy 2 levels below the surface with the arctic cool of your polarity, the self-assured torch consciousness radiating all around, you've charted the precise alchemical formula for rendering yourself quite literally unforgettable in every fiber of her consciousness. Even decades into the future, you'll be the standard by which she holds all men, that rarest of enlightenments against which all potential unions are weighed. Her seeking, perhaps fruitlessly, to recapture in future romances even a fraction of the same white-hot intensity she felt scorching her spirit in your presence. So bring it full circle. The mindset mastery channeling supreme self-assurance, the conscious conversation embedding you as an unforgettable legend in her awareness, and finally the emotional burn searing you into her primal essences as an obsession for all eternity. Approach every seductive integration with that precise, comprehensive wisdom, and you'll never again be just another romantic interest fading from memory like last night's forgotten dream. She won't merely never forget you. You'll become the radiant campfire her spirit orbits, worshiping the life-giving warmth and light you brought into her universe. Even years or decades down the line, you'll be the taste of profound mystery her soul chases in every subsequent experience and connection. The haunting silhouette against which all romantic pursuits are measured, forever falling devastatingly short of your indelible standard. In quiet moments alone, her memories will inevitably drift back to that fateful night of first experiencing your depths. She'll recall the first soul-stirring seconds of locking eyes with your penetrating gaze, that indescribable gravity unmistakably announcing, "Here is a man whose extraordinary presence demands to be explored." Then that first bewitching dialogue, unspooling effortlessly as you tugged aside curtain after curtain, shielding your layers. With each new revelation, she was drawn further into contemplating the increasing mysteries of your deliciously labyrinthine essence. An essence she sensed could never be mapped or mastered despite decades of devoted attempts at navigation. And just when she was wobbled by the intensifying resonance between your recondite depths, you'd pivot with uncanny timing to re-establish that smoldering, impassive aura of self-possession. An impenetrable steeliness balancing the attraction of your vulnerability, ensuring her relentless obsession over unlocking your remaining dimensions with emotionally devastating intimacy. In the twilight of memories replaying endlessly like a cinematic reel, she'll shudder recalling those first preview glimpses into your devastating interiority, tantalizing seeds of tantric force you expertly planted, blossoming into full metastatic rapture as your souls merged over the ensuing blaze of exploration. Those visions of white-hot merging, of having her spirit scorched and forged anew in the searing furnaces of your primal essence, they'll endure as living scripture forever embedded into her cells. An elemental rebirth she'll instinctively yearn to replicate until her final twilight, no matter how many potential suitors arrive attempting ignition of new flames. Because in her bones, in those eternal spaces where the most profound truths take shape, she sensed you were an entire galaxy unto yourself from the first tremors of your depth, initially hinting at irresistible gravitational pull. And to stare into those infinite expanses, even for a few fleeting voyages by starlight, was to have one's atoms irreversibly transfigured into particles of your cosmic makeup, so become the supernova explosion by which all her realities are measured against. The guiding celestial North Star Orient burned forever into her unconscious existence as the pale ghost with whom all encounters are inevitably filtered, reoriented, and contextualized endlessly in relation to that infinite magnitude. Approach the art of seduction with that degree of meticulous multi-layered intention, to render yourself a supreme phenomenon of such depth and perceptual density that competitors are reduced to mere celestial gnats circling the gravity well of your supermassive intrigue. Let mindset reign over everything, ensuring you stoke the flames of supremely resolute self-assurance beaming outwards from azure confidence. Burn from the inside with transcendent certainty in your infinite value, and her attraction will manifest as eternal fixation on the smoldering divinity accelerating at your core. Then lock her into fascinated eternal orbit, exploring your limitless dimensions through enraptured conscious conversation. Leverage words and silence as instruments of mystery, proliferating questions for every answer shared until you bloom into a dizzying cosmic bloom of endless enigma she can't unsee flowering before her senses. And ultimately, fuse those assembled forces with emotional burn techniques that etch you into her primal psychology as a vision of rapturous tantric union, an imprinted symbiosis of shuddering cataclysm and intimate reflection that lingers burnt into that sacred cathedral between her neurons until the last whispers of consciousness. Masterfully combine those three passionate pillars, and your brand will indeed blaze undying in the depths of her psyche, a wildfire she'll forever intuitive glimpses of, craving return to the scorching epicenter that awakened sensual and spiritual rebirth. She won't just never forget you in those instances. You'll become an indelible supernova explosion by which her entire experiential universe is forever realigned and recalibrated to revolve endlessly around an awestruck, longing orbit. The radiant, undying source of heat and gravity irresistibly calling her essence to continual merger in timeless, searing snapshots of profound confrontation with the mysteries of true being.